and in this video I'm going to talk to you about the 5 mistakes. That's 5 mistakes that you want to avoid when growing giant sunflowers from seed. Okay, so this is the first mistake to avoid. That is, you need to buy the right seeds. You just can't go to a garden centre and buy yourself a pack of sunflower seeds and expect them to grow absolutely enormous. You need to buy the right ones. Now typically your regular sunflower, which is Helianthus annuus, only going to grow to about 5-6 foot, so if you buy those you're not going to get very far. So you need to buy the giant ones. Now there are 3 probably commonly found varieties that you'll find in your garden centre, and that would be the Russian Giant, the Mongolian Giant, or the American Giant, and all of these will have the capacity to grow to about 14 feet. Of course, all the record-breaking guys, they produce their own seed in secret kind of laboratories. But today we're going to be using the irregular Mongolian Giant. So, mistake number 2. How do you sow giant sunflowers? Right, let's look down here. Have a pot of some lovely soil-based multi-purpose compost. You don't put 1 seed in, you put in 2 seeds. And there's a reason for that. I'll just put those in, put them down a little wee bit, water those, and then off to the greenhouse with you. These should germinate really, probably for the first week, but really within about 2-3 weeks all of these would have germinated. Anyway, look down here. The reason why we plant 2 to a pot is because you want to pick the strongest one. I mean, look at the difference between this one and this one, this one and this one. And once you've worked out which is the strongest one, it's very easy. You take out that one. So discard it, you don't need it anymore. And that's why you plant 2. The 3rd mistake you want to avoid is not planting enough sunflowers, and the reason for that is because they are prone to a disease called black leg. Hideous thing, and what it does, I'll show you a picture of it. It rots at the base of the stem, and that reduces the amount of nutritional water that the plant can take up in order to produce a giant sunflower. So if you want, say, 6 regular giant sunflowers, then you probably want to plant double the amount of seed, because you're guaranteed if you just grow 6 you'll probably lose 2 or 3 of those to blackleg. So we are a couple of weeks further ahead. The overnight temperatures are finally steadily above 10 degrees centigrade, and you can see now that we're starting to get a little bit high and they need a little bit of support. So this means it's now time to get them into the ground, and that leads us to mistake number 4 to avoid. I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it in the ground. Right, so mistake number 4 is to not give it enough nutrition. Now you and I know that giant sunflowers grow really, really big, so they need plenty of nutrition, plenty of minerals to sort of power and fire that plant upwards. So what we're going to do, we've dug out a hole, and we're going to mix in the base of that hole some organic matter, some rich organic matter. Okay. The soil you want that to be quite free draining, because you don't want any soil fungus infections, but you do need it quite rich. It's going to need a lot of feeding. So a bag of blended farm manure, and the thing I like about that is that it's pre-sterilised, because if you have if you just get some horse manure and put that down, you tend to find that any seeds that the horse digested, they don't get sterilised in the stomach, and you can have a load of seeds coming through. You can do it with cow manure, but to be on the safe side, pre-bagged, it's sterilised, with no risk of seeds or fungal infections or fungal spores still in there. So we don't plant that directly onto the compost because it's too rich, but we mix that into the soil. And then we take this little beauty, and without disturbing the root ball, this is quite nice, isn't it? Place that in there. And then in the spoil, and the spoil is the soil that I've taken out of the ground, I've pre-mixed this with more of the farmyard manure. Just Oh, don't want that. No, that's bindweed, bro. You don't want that. Look at another one. Right, let me backfill. Hold that. Right, I don't really want to compress that down because I like to have that sort of oxygen and free draininess from the loose soil in there. But we'll give it a bit of water.
Amazing.
Now I'm going to support this to the fence, but at the moment it's too small. So I'm just going to use this. Now be aware, you don't want to shove that into the existing root ball. Just put that a little bit further behind. I just want it loose, and then as it gets bigger, I'll start securing it onto these lengths of wood. Anyway, that brings us to mistake number 5. Mistake number 5 is to put it in a place where you're not going to get enough light. You really need to get at least 6 hours of sunlight a day on these. So I've put this on the sunny side of the garden. And if you notice, I've got a post here. You know, you might think, well, why didn't you plant it directly in front of the post and use the post as support? Well, I'll tell you why, because the sun comes that way and it will put this in shadow until it's reached the top. So that's why I put it away from the post, so it gets as much sun as it possibly can. And that's it. That is your 5 mistakes to avoid. And if you've got other great advice that you want to add, then put those in the comments. And in the meantime, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.